go ahead and let's do some match predictions. Let's see what you guys think. We'll go ahead.
My favorite part.
We're disagreeing today.
Wild card fatal 4-way. This is the big main event. When the chips are down, this could decide who's going to the championship. Casey Carrington of the Chaos Nation, Jeremy Wyatt of the Ego Busters, Makazi of the Blacklist, Stephen Kennedy of the Resurgence. One man to rule them all. Who's taking the main event?
First off, I am excited for this match because this is going to be the first Fatal 4-Way we have ever had, and it is each team representing, or one member from each team
the captain, basically, of each team.
Basically, and it's going to be a good match. And like I said earlier, there's those fresh wounds between Casey Carrington and Jeremy Wyatt because of that main event, and also there is the fresh wounds from Makazi and Kennedy trusting Greg Jovi.
You're stalling. Who do you
stalling.
pick?
I just okay.
No need to explain.
You have to pick one
I will
person.
if you don't.
One person, Jeremy Wyatt.
Who's he going to pin? There we go. I'm throwing that at you.
Only one question.
Casey Carrington is going to be pinning Stephen Kennedy.
Wow.
And I think there's going to be some bad blood coming up. I've got Casey Carrington just because of what I said earlier about Chaos Nation. That I think they're trying to build this place up to tear it down. I don't think we've seen the best of Casey Carrington.
I'm going to go with Andrew on this. I see Casey Carrington winning.
You don't want to pick who he's going to beat?
I don't see him pinning Kennedy. I feel he's going to take the cheap way out. Granted, these are all top-tier talents here. There's no cheap way out, but I see him avoiding Kennedy at all costs. We also have the wild card tag team match where we're going to see Pierre Abernathy, tag team specialist, teaming with Blue Chip Danny Adams of the Ego Busters against Mike Outlaw and Jake Durden. Drew, wild match here. What do you got?
Durden and Outlaw. I don't know where Danny Adams' mentality is right now, and I picked him against ACH. So I that's what I'm using as my emphasis point. I thought that was his big chance to shine. I don't know where he's at mentally right now.
He's running out of excuses, and again, when you look at the stats, Matt Fitchett has more wins as an Ego Buster than Danny Adams.
Exactly, and that's what I think the problem has become. I don't see him stepping up because, quite frankly, I don't trust Pierre Abernathy to be on the up and up with Adams either. I think that is going to be a very chaotic tag team. I can see Outlaw and Durden, despite the tension, those two guys aren't the personal ones. Like, if that was Makazi and Kennedy, I think they'd want each other's throats. Outlaw and Durden, I don't think there's a whole lot of tension right there. I think they're kind of guys, I don't want to say they're pawns, but they're kind of away from that little center thing. They didn't make the decisions. They just kept on working and competing and showing why they're good. I have them winning, and I have them winning fairly soundly.
It is interesting to note, Mike Outlaw and Jake Durden, though, are rivals at Dynamo Pro. So that might be something that, you never know if that kind of tension might spill over to other places.
It could.
Tito, who you got? No stalling.
We've already explained
I can stall if I want to. I'm going to go with Abernathy and Adams. And it's a weird pick. I know I've been disagreeing with you quite a bit, but Abernathy is the tag team pro. And he does call the shots with the submission squad, when he's teamed with Gelistico. He does call the shots. He pulls the strings. He does whatever they need to do to win. I bet he's the one that came up with the whole chair shot idea to win the match.
You're right. Back in stage 2. But is Adams going to listen to Abernathy? That's all I have to say about that.
Looking at it, Abernathy is more experienced than Danny Adams, and obviously he should probably listen to him because
he should,
but the ego is bigger. His ego is bigger than the entire state of Illinois. There's no point.
We're going to be 2 for 2 here because I think I'm leaning Outlaw Durden as well. They just so far in PWCS their records stand for themselves. We talked about Durden being 4-1. Mike Outlaw's 2-0. He's undefeated so far. Not a big sample size. I'm on board with the Adams, not hate, but the misunderstanding. He is such a talented, raw, talented individual, and maybe it's been Jovi's been distracted by everything else is going on, and he hasn't been able to coach him well. You just see it. Like he hung in there with Durden. He's hung in there with the Viking War Party, ACH. Like he's had these brilliant showings, and he's been this close to coming out as a victor, but he's 0-4, 0-5, he's 0-something, He hasn't won anything yet. And as the season's gone on, he lost to Durden, and there was a reax with him and Jovi. And Jovi said, "Look, kid, you had a good showing, but you need to win matches."
Right.
After stage 2, you saw Jovi walk away. Like his team lost that 6-man tag and he just left ringside, his hands in the air, like I don't know what to do. Stage 3 against ACH, he didn't even come to the ring with Danny Adams.
Right, sent him out to the Wolf.
So Jovi seems to have lost faith in Danny Adams. So why should any of us show any faith in him either?
I think it has to come with age. He's very new to the game. He just got out of training, and I think it's he's entitled to stuff and all that stuff. And I think maybe eventually he's going to grow out of that and start to learn and finally realize that he's not the best, and he needs to learn more, and he needs to look to the elders, the veterans, the people who have been doing this longer, and Pierre's been doing it for many years. So maybe he's like, okay, I need to listen more.
Real quick one here. We've talked about Submission Squad, Cobra Kai Dojo to the death of ourselves.
A lot.
So, I just want to name Evan Gelistico versus Davey Vega.
Vega.
Wow.
Revenge. This is it. That's it. I think Evan, especially without his buddy Pierre. That's
true.
Exactly.
I think the interesting thing to note, though, is we haven't seen much of Evan Gelistico in singles action. I don't think we've seen him at all in singles action.
I think he's not very good in tag team action, so... I'm not a fan.
I can tell.
I took it a little personally in stage number 3. But.
I can tell. This one should really blow the roof off, I think. Matt Fitchett, Zakk Sawyers, they just teamed up at stage 3 in kind of the impromptu tag team match situation. Zakk Sawyers had a tremendous showing at the last set of St. Louis Anarchy shows.
Yeah.
Took on former ROH competitor Tommaso Ciampa. Came up a little bit short, but really made a name for himself. Won a big multi-man match the following night. They do double shots over at St. Louis Anarchy. So Sawyer's name suddenly is in the circle of top talent in St. Louis. And Matt Fitchett obviously is the gateway in St. Louis. He's the guy. Drew, we'll start with you. What do you think of that match?
This will be the closest, and I have to give it to Sawyers. And that's only because you brought up a good point. And while I said that Fitchett and Vega are more confident than they've ever been, and I think that they're going to be fine, I think that Sawyers is going to have Jovi in his corner, and he's really going to get the full Jovi experience for the first time. And so that's going to be very fun for him, is to have, not fun for us, but fun for him, to have Greg Jovi in his corner for the first time, all the attention on him, and that's some excellent coaching. As much as I don't like Greg Jovi, especially after what he did at the end of Stage 3, I have to give it to Sawyers.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Zakk Sawyers, because I'm really worried about Matt Fitchett. Building up show after show, and especially with this last one. How good is his shoulder after injuring it? The reckless abandon. I'm worried he's going to injure his shoulder even worse or something else. So that might cause a loss for Matt Fitchett.
Here's what I think. I think Zakk Sawyers is a very poor fit for the Ego Busters. I'm kind of surprised he's part of that team because he doesn't really fit like the prototype of what Greg Jovi looks for. Like he looks for these like top tier athletes, and not to say that Sawyers isn't, but like he's kind of a dirty, grungy kind of character, and he just doesn't seem to fit the mold. And he was very buddy with Fitchett after their win with the coconut. He's more of a fun-loving guy, whereas Jovi's kind of a stick in the mud.
He is.
So, whereas I see Evan Gelistico winning by nefarious means, I don't see Sawyers using those same kind of tactics. I don't see him wanting Jovi's help. He might get it anyway.
That's what I mean. He's not going to want it, but he's going to get it.
So kind of on the flip side of Evan and Vega, I see Matt Fitchett winning this one just because he's more experienced, he's more focused. I don't think the shoulder is going to bother him so much. He was out there later that night and didn't look bad at all. So I see Matt Fitchett pulling this one out.
Who are the two teams you see in the championship spectacular?
I hope it's the Resurgence and the Blacklist. Because, as we've discussed, they're
here to compete.
They're here to compete, and I think they will compete till their bloody, bare-bone messes.
Exactly.
But they won't cheat. They won't try to hurt one another. But at the same time, you'll see, they're not going to pull any punches because after what we saw at the end of Stage 3, I think that they got a little chip on their shoulders against one another.
I've got the Resurgence, and I've got Chaos Nation. And that's just because of how I predicted things here, and I think Chaos Nation has something big planned.
They have to win, though.
They do, and that's where I think this comes in.
You know, I think I will see a rematch of last Championship Spectacular because I see Ego Busters versus the Blacklist.
There you go.
PWCS Stage 4, Saturday, October 3rd at 7 p.m. at the Downtown Dugout, 1815 Delmar Avenue in Granite City, Illinois. Tickets are on sale at pwcs.com. See you at Stage 4.